Turn that frown upside down and get talking to people. It's the best way to learn a language. Hi, it's Benny here from Fluent in 3 Months, the world's favourite language learning blog. Are you learning English and want to start real conversations with native English speakers? Or perhaps you're learning another language and would like ideas for how to start talking with native speakers in that language. This is the first video on a new series about how to start conversations in your target language. I've written an article on this, so check that out if you're more of a reader. I know it can be scary to start a conversation with someone or to join a group conversation, especially in your second language. So you might be wondering, what do I say? Or what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if people think I'm stupid? Well, here's the problem for language learners. What you learn in the classroom sometimes just isn't relevant to everyday situations. You would never start a conversation with, "How many uncles and aunts do you have?" Or, "What is the color of your hair?" Here's another problem. All languages, including English, are much more than just a list of words and grammar rules. Language exists for communication. Speaking a language is about connecting with people. Speaking conversational English is usually just about knowing the right thing to say in any given situation. And that is rarely taught in classrooms. This series of videos is going to take you through a variety of situations that will get you having real conversations in your target language. These include speaking one-on-one, speaking in a group, speaking to someone at specific locations or at specific events. This series will discuss phrases and topics that are relevant and get the conversation flowing. But before we get into the thick of things, we need to discuss the elephant in the room. The dreaded fear of speaking to strangers. The fear of seeming weird or looking foolish. The fear of other people's reactions to what you say. The fear of that strange look that says, "I don't want to talk to you," or someone laughing in your face at what you said. Of course, this is very rare, and most people are happy that someone is learning their native language, and they're encouraging, not mean. This video is about overcoming that fear and how I go about it. To be honest, I still experience moments of fear when I start conversations in a language that I'm learning. It sometimes takes me a few minutes to get into the flow. Just know that this feeling is totally normal. Try to accept it as normal and not to worry too much about it. Now, here's what I do when I have that anxious feeling. Step 1 is to be friendly. Smiling and appreciating the experience of meeting someone will help you feel relaxed and will let everyone know that you are after a friendly and good time. Talking to someone who's super serious and has a grave expression is rarely enjoyable. So relax your face and turn that frown upside down. A lot of communication is non-verbal, and a simple smile sends the message of friendliness and disarms anyone you may be starting a conversation with. This is especially useful when speaking in a language you aren't familiar with, and where it's possible to come across as rude or abrupt simply by mispronunciation or mistaken expression use. Step 2 to overcoming that fear is to take the pressure off wanting to have a particular result from the conversation. A lot of Eastern and Stoic philosophy concludes that much of life's pain stems from the gap between expectations and reality. This is true in learning languages as well. So stop having specific expectations about what will happen. Whatever happens, happens. Don't expect anything from yourself or the other person other than getting to know them a little better. Also, Don't force a topic or be aggressive in what you're trying to say. That type of energy is a turn-off to someone who you've just met. Let the conversation flow naturally. Finally, realize that you don't need to become BFFs with your conversation partner. There are loads of native speakers out there, so becoming friends with this one person won't determine your success as a language learner. If the conversation doesn't go well, that's okay. The next opportunity is just around the corner. Step 3 is to remember that the world doesn't revolve around you. This can be very difficult for a lot of people, as we all experience life through our own eyes. So an individual naturally feels that the world does revolve around them, despite knowing that it probably doesn't. So don't make any conversations only about yourself. Try to ask questions about the other person's life. Only interject things about yourself when they are actually relevant to the topic. What if they ask you a question about yourself? Then you answer it, but then ask them the same question. Often people ask questions they secretly want to be asked themselves, so turn the question around and see what your conversation partner has to say. The most important thing is to not be forceful or to seem desperate. Bring things up naturally and casually. People should never feel pressured to talk with you, so help them to feel comfortable. Step 4 is to be honest when speaking or answering a question. Don't just make something up because you've memorized a particular phrase. For example, don't say, "I love cats too," if you actually hate cats. Or avoid saying, "My uncle works in a factory," when you don't even have an uncle, let alone one that works in a factory. So just make sure you say things that are true, even if it means searching for the words that you need. Otherwise, you could end up in a really awkward and unclear situation. The final step to overcoming that fear and getting the conversation going is to avoid closed-loop questions. Questions that can only be answered with yes or no are closed-loop questions because they close down conversations. Open-loop questions work much better when your aim is to keep a conversation flowing. Let's look at the difference between these through a couple of examples. Instead of asking the closed question, "Do you like apple juice?" ask the open question, "What's your favorite type of juice?" Or, instead of asking, "Do you like spaghetti?" you can ask, "How often do you eat Italian food?" Open-loop questions invite further discussion, whereas a yes or no question usually just invites an end to the conversation and immediately puts the pressure back on you to say something new and interesting. The pressure brings back the dreaded fear. So, the 5 steps to overcoming fear are: smile and be friendly, take the pressure off wanting a particular result, remember the world and conversation doesn't revolve around you, be honest or at least don't lie, and ask open-loop questions. If you want to know more about overcoming fear, which is an essential part of speaking another language, then check out the article I wrote to go alongside this video in the description. In the next video, we'll be getting specific with conversation starters for one-on-one encounters. So please like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you shortly. Thanks for watching, and until next time.